Alright, there's an awful lot of Farmalls. I'm just going to kind of go over them quick unless I see something cool. I only like the little ones too. Here's a little A with a 1 bottom. Farmall 504. Here's a cub with a 2-row planter on it. Here's a B, high clear. With those guards on the tires, so don't go on the leaves, pull it down. Farmall AV, high clear. See the drop boxes in the back. International 956, 856, 1256, 1466. Here's a 666 Devil tractor, Super M, a 240, a 58 version, 59, 240, a 54 Super MTA, a 1066 Super MTA with a 3-bottom plow. Yep, International 3-bottom. International 140 with a belly mower. A 140 57 version. A Super MTA again. A 656 W6 standard. 560 diesel. 806 diesel. Here's a box for corn. An M48 model. Here's one that's, look at this little guy. Here's Tater. It says Tater on it. It's a little 1 bottom. Here's a real nice F20. Please don't touch. Beautiful tractor. Here's a 330 utility. An F20N 1938. So many good looking tractors here. Okay, here's a Farmall. Not sure what it is. A. Here's a B. Off. This one's got 2 seats. Probably for like a bridge ride or something. Super C. An H. A Super H. A W4 standard. Super C. Here's a GM powered one. It's pretty neat. Here's a International Harvester Honeybee Loader, manufactured by Honeybee Company, Everly, Iowa. Here's a Super H, Super M, a W4. This is a 1948 Super A. Farmall F14. It's an old one. 1938. There is a Farmall 450 pulling a 3-bottom. 86 hydro, a 140, a super MTA, an M, a cub. There's 4 cubs right in a row here. Okay, so this one is a this one's a 52. This is a 61. So I started changing them a little bit. This one is a 49. But see, that's the tractor that Oliver targeted with the 44s. They realized, hey, they have a lot of the market share, so let's make one of our own. Farmall H, 1206, a 200, an H with a spreader. And 560. 1466. 444. 1206. 1206. 706. 1466. 1468. 1456. Here's a 656. 806, 966, 1256. Here's a 706. Farmall AV Cultivision. Must be a high clear because look at the drop boxes. A 450. Hydro 100, 544, 856, 706. Here's an MD diesel and an H. Here's an F12 National Cub. Low boy. That one's low to the ground. Here's a Farmall Cub in white with a planter on it. Look at that. Driven off the axle. And a Cub with a 1000 loader. And here we have a John Deere 730. Here's a Farmall Cub, a B, a Cub, another Cub, 52 version, an M, 826, 1468, 1066. Here's an H, Super H, another H, a 350 propane. Here's that spreader. I don't know. 806. Here's a 1466, a B, Farmall 400, a 706, an H, a 600, H, 706. Here's a interesting one. Here's a 706, a 560, 300, 1206 diesel, 1026, 806, 1466, Super MTA. Those are nice. Here's a Super HTA. I didn't know they made them. I always heard of the M's. They must have had A's or H's that way. Look at it, it's got the same as that. The box. Interesting. Here's a case. 7240. $14.68. Farmall B. $14.68. Here's an international truck. It's pretty cool. 1952 pickup L120. 6-cylinder 220 silver diamond engine. Pretty neat. Here's a 1206 scale model. 1566 scale model. Another truck. A110. 560 diesel. A 450. Another 450. MDTA. Super M. An H. An A. And an F20. Here's a 1566. 1466. You can guess that one would be a little bit bigger. 1066, 966, 766, 666, 1456, 1256, 1026, 1026. We're getting there. A Super M, a 656, Super MTA, 1206, 1466, another 1206, a 460, a 560, and a 660. An H and M, another 560, a 656. Get a little ahead of you. An M, 1941. An M. Super C with a belly mower.
Yeah,
F12. And two little cubs. Okay, here's an M. It says Farmall M8 experimental. Not much info is available about the M8 program. There were two H8s and two M8s known built. These tractors are built to answer the call for more gears and live power. They're dropped in favor of the Super MTA tractors. The concept of the 8-speed transmission later developed into the 06 series tractors. In the Farmall world, if I was a huge Farmall fan, this would probably be pretty dang cool, but I don't know enough about them to know what's different on them. Here's a 3088, 1456, a 3588. 5488, a 1066. Here's a 300 high clear, 1956 version. Look at the arms going down. Here's a 460 high clear, a 1066 high clear. That's got to be rare. AV 1466, 1968. Here's a Elliott fire truck. International. Elliott, a fire department, an international truck. Another international truck. A Super M. Another nice international pickup, an L130. A 140 Farmall with a belly moor. Here's a 560. A C with mounted planter. That'd be a corn planter. It's a Super MTA.
You can put a lot more in there, so please fill it up as much as you want, though.
Super 120M. Here's a Farmall Super A.
Well, I've got little wrench that's gonna go in. And we set this 65.
Demonstrate them white, sell them red, stay in the black. There's an oldie. Putting famous power to the ground for the first time.
If you need to take a break on it, I can see it.
IH friction drive traction engine. What are called tractors.
These were built in like obviously they were great for pulling like wagons and things like that or stationary golf carts. Friction drive didn't work really well as a plow tractor because slippage.
Yeah, in there.
And this one didn't have the canopy, so any rain or anything else would have caused all kinds of damage. But this one's a fun one to have out and about because, like, St. Flat literally is the reason every red tractor.
Alright, we're going to check out the gathering of the 1206's if we can get there. Alright, so we're going to do 1206's here. Let's start with this one. Gathering of the 1206's. How many did you say? They said they were like 300?
There were between 250 and 300. If everybody registered them.
Bingo, 5. A 21 206.
West of the door. A little bit of yard trick.
I'm definitely not going to say 1206 on each one because that'd be great. 1266.
Some of these that are missing were in the parade. There were quite a few 1206's in the parade. And there's one of them right there.
first one there, pulling a 5 bottom. 550 International. That one's a 720 International plow. Here's a pre-production 1206. Serial number 503. Movie star Farmall. In the Heat of the Night, 1967. Haven't seen that movie, but pretty cool that it's here. Do you like all of our tractors and equipment? If so, you can show me support by hitting that thumbs up or thumbs down if you didn't like it. Leave a comment. Consider subscribing. It's free. YouTube will notify you when I release a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.